Nate's necessary notes is in place for this segment. We usually recap the past week of NFL, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So week 5 of the NFL has happened. We had some very fun games, like some pretty good games we were blessed with this past week in college and NFL. We had Thursday night, probably one of the greatest Thursday night games ever. And I hate to say it because you know who was in that game. 2 of our division rivals, the Falcons and the Buccaneers. So the Falcons ran away with this in overtime over the Buccaneers, 36-30. Kirk Cousins, he went 42 for 58. That's a 72.4% completion percentage, 509 yards passing, 4 touchdowns and a pick. And then old Baker Mayfield had 19 for 24, 79.2% completion, 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was a masterclass versus these two. I mean, it was like we were watching Brady and Rodgers, dude. It was crazy. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was so insane. Takeaways from the game, Ty. What you got?
I mean, if you're an offensive fan, you dadgum love this game. I mean, it was fun to watch. Love seeing Kirk Cousins with a little swag. I mean,
Kirko Chainz, baby.
Like you said, 42 for 58. I mean, that's an old dude throwing 58 passes a game and completing about 70%. It seems like that offense is finally starting to evolve. They struggled early on against Pittsburgh, which is a good defense. They had a couple struggles like in week 1 and week 2. It seems like that offense is starting to come into shape. And they have the playmakers to do it. They really do. London had a good night, I believe, right? Bijan is just he's arguably the best. He could be the best back in the South. Kamara's had a good year, but the young potential from Bijan is just out of this water or out of the water. It's as a Saints fan, right? Sucks to see that happen, but we're not going to be biased here. Falcons came out and played really good offense, and that's something they've been wanting to see, and they got it done. And even last week against the Saints, they didn't score an offensive touchdown, right? Nope. They get down there and get those field goals with Young Waku, but I mean, there's just been some struggles on offense, and I'm sure for Atlanta fans, it feels good to get something going in a positive direction.
I mean, no, you got to lose a lot of offensive momentum with that Saints game. I mean, you had no offensive touchdowns, and now Kirk Cousins comes up here. He not only throws 4 touchdowns on offense, he breaks the single game passing yards record, previously set by Matt Ryan, as we know, who was there for a long time. I mean, you had this guy come in off of an Achilles tear saying, is he going to be able to compete at a high level? Well, Atlanta thinks he does. They give him $100 million guaranteed, say, hey, come play with us for 4 years. He comes in. We 5 weeks into football, Ty. He's already broken a passing record they had from a QB that's been there over a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's a hit on Matt Ryan or a compliment to Kirk Cousins or both. I'm not sure what to think. I mean, the Saints fan in me wants to say that Matt Ryan was bad, right?
Yeah.
But the non-biased fan says, well, maybe Kirk Cousins is just that guy. And I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I think he's glad you like it. Kirk Cousins, great. He's always been a quarterback that can get it done. Sometimes he's failed in big moments. Now, I mean, this year, you had the Monday night game against the Eagles, right? And that was a game where, he comes up big. Big division game, like I said, like we were talking about last week. Not prime time, but it's a big division game, and you come out, and you're able to win that game game in crunch time, and then same thing with primetime Thursday night. Another huge division game, and you come out and find a way to win that ball game, score a touchdown late. Kadarius Hodge on the reception, big play. Shout out Kadarius, native Mississippian from Belo, Mississippi. But no, I mean,
He put on the Jets for that
like
one.
I said. Go ahead.
I said he put on the Jets for that last touchdown.
He did. I mean, he's an older dude. I was sitting there like, dadgum, man. He really did. I mean, he split some defenders. You're right. He put on the Jets, and that's like I said earlier, Falcons fans were looking for just some good offensive play, and they most definitely saw that.
Oh, they got it. But we saw not one game go into overtime. We also saw another one go into overtime. And it was also another division game. And I was like, this game's going to be close. This game's going to be close like bread on butter, baby. I mean, it's just going to be so close. It was Ravens and Bengals. They go into overtime. Ravens end up winning 41-38. Lamar Jackson saying they're saying he's going to win his third MVP. He goes 26 for 42, 62% completion percentage, 348 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. And Joe Burrow, 30 for 39, 77% completion percentage, 392 yards passing, 5 touchdowns and a pick. Dude, that game was phenomenal to watch. I was over at my buddy's house, and it's before 12 o'clock. We're deciding what game to put on. I said, put on that Ravens-Bengals game because it's going to be hot. And I'm thankful we did because it was beautiful. And, yes, we watched it on Meth Streams. It was a certified Meth Streams classic. Well, now the Bengals tie. My question is that what I really want to talk about for this game, the Bengals now fall to 1-4. And we've seen the Bengals be really the only kryptonite for the Chiefs in the postseason. Does this now 1-4 start ruin, if not completely take them out of playoff contention?
I don't think so. You look at how Joe Burrow played Sunday afternoon. Thought he played. I mean, he played well, other than the interception. That was a crucial interception at that point in the game as well. Tried to hit. I believe that was Chase and stride, and it was just jumped perfectly and picked off. But he has a great game, and the botched hold. You get that hold down. That kick really wasn't far off, and you get that hold down. Things might be different, and the Bengals might be walking out of this 2-3 in a division win that's important. I don't think that it's gonna affect their playoff chances. I think they'll should be a wild card team. The Ravens are the premier team in that league or in that division. I still think they're good. Lamar, again, he made some incredible plays, and Lamar's Lamar. I think they'll fight for a wild card. The Browns aren't very good. Steelers are kind of in the middle, kind of how they've been for the last couple of years now. I think they'll fight for a wild card. You saw Joe Burrow the other day in his press conference say they're not, where they've been. They're not a championship caliber team. And he's right. They've lost a lot of close games, and championship teams and teams that succeed win close games. I believe that's 3 or 4 one-score games that they've lost to start the year. I think they have the talent on that roster. I think they're starting to run it a little bit better. I think Burrow himself is a really, really talented quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the league in terms of just reading a defense and being able to dice them up. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to fight for a wild card spot, and who knows with the 2 receivers on that team and the way Burrow can dice people up and the Bengals, they can get they can get pretty good on defense late in the year. It seems like if they get to play the Chiefs, that'll be an interesting game, especially with Patrick Mahomes and everything. But to wrap it up, I think they're going to be okay. It's a 1-4 start, but it's a start that you've lost a lot of close games and one-score games. In I think a couple plays go your way, you're looking at a 3-2 start instead of a 1-4 start.
Now, if you go back to Thursday, my prediction was Evan McPherson was going to win this game. At the end, I didn't tell you it was going to be the fourth quarter overtime. I was like, he's going to win this game with a field goal at the end. And I was setting up. I was like, oh, this prediction's going to be right. And then he misses it. And I'm like, okay, well, you just gave the Ravens the game pretty much after you. That was your one and only chance. That was your one and only chance. So they messed up. But although I made that prediction Thursday night, we had a pretty good game Sunday night. Like I said, we were just blessed this weekend with some good football. Now, Sunday night, the Cowboys went to Pittsburgh, played the Steelers, ended up having a weather delay. So we didn't really get to see the game until 9 o'clock our time Central. And it was supposed to start at 7:15. And it didn't happen until after 9. So I was prepared to stay up and watch this game. Because, we big Dak people. Although I don't like the team he's on, I still like to root for Dak. Now, the Cowboys beat the Steelers 20-17. And both teams are now 3-2. Now, I watch a lot of ESPN and NFL stuff and college football stuff. And one of the big kind of takes was if the Cowboys cannot win this game, if they start 2-3, and now we just said the Bengals 1-4, they could still make the playoffs. If the Cowboys start 2-3, they're not making the playoffs whatsoever. So I kind of want to get your takes on that. I actually have the last play of the game, which is kind of cool. I have this for us. So it was 4th and goal. The Steelers had taken a timeout to defend this play, and Michael McCarthy just drew up a perfect 4th down conversion for a touchdown to win the game in the last seconds. But do the Cowboys have a chance for the playoffs, man? After this win, I mean, the Steelers have looked so dominant on defense, and to have this win it's huge for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it is. It's a big win. You see that play right there. I mean, they draw it up perfectly. A kind of a long developing mesh route with some receivers kind of going over the middle. You have some defensive backs run in. Offensive line holds up. And Dak makes a good throw. I was happy for him. Like you said, we're Dak guys. He did big things for us here at State. So happy for him anytime things go well. Cowboys and playoffs. I think they could. There still is a good bit of talent on that team. I think they have a tough schedule. They have a tough schedule, and they have an unexpected division rival that's played some good ball over there in the Washington D.C. area. There, the Commanders. They played some good ball, and that the Eagles are still they're still one of the most talented teams in the NFC. I definitely think that they still have a chance. One of the things that I've talked with my dad about this. Even it feels like they're missing a run game. It feels like they're missing a run game, and it you lose Pollard, right? You lose Pollard, and you don't really make an effort to go get anybody. You go get Zeke, but I mean, I just feel like, I hate to say it, but I just feel like Zeke has lost any sort of burst that he had when he came out of Ohio State, and in those first 3 years that he had in Dallas. So the running game has been a concern, and I think Dowdle had a good game. I think he had 20 carries, had 80 something yards. I think it was 83, and he had a couple of good run plays that had good gains, and he caught that touchdown pass on the sideline that Dak threw rolling out to his right. So, he was active in the game. I think Dowdle is somebody that they'll look to more, and I think they're going to have to. It just depends on depth at that position. And it's kind of the same with their offensive line. I don't think they're as confident as where they were depth-wise with that offensive line as they've been before. You lose Smith to the Jets. That's a big hit. That's a vet. That's a really good tackle. It's been a struggle early for Dallas. And the defense has just it's been meh. I mean, really, the Saints game was ugly, 100%. The defense hadn't been as dominant as a lot of people think that they should be, and I've kind of thought that's just I don't know that they really made a great effort to go get anybody. It's kind of the same way on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't feel like they've made any sort of effort in the offseason to go get anybody. I think they can make the playoffs. But I really think it relies on how far Dak and CD can take them, and if this defense can crack down and be like they have been, if this run game can get any sort of better. I mean, if they run the ball a little bit better than they did Sunday night, I think they'll be okay. But it's going to really depend on Dak a lot, and it's really going to depend on their stars and how they can elevate this offense. And I hate to add on another thing, but I think they had 3 missed opportunities to where they could have scored a touchdown in the red zone Sunday night. They got to get better in the red zone. Got to get better at being able to convert and score touchdowns in the red area when you're deep in opponent's territory. But I think they can. I think they can find a way to make playoffs.
Now the Cowboys are going to cowboy. They do not make moves in the offseason. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you look back at that game before that game even happened, Tony Pollard had more rushing yards in the season than any of the Dallas Cowboys running backs combined before that game. And that just shows you, okay, well, you just lost somebody who brought you production, didn't only have a rushing game. He returned kicks for you. You didn't have to worry about your return game. He was returning kicks. Him and Turpin were returning kicks. You didn't have to worry about it. But as long as the Cowboys, they could have Tom Brady on their team. As long as the Cowboys have Jerry Jones as an owner, they will not see a championship in the future. He is the only person holding them back because you cannot have a regular season. The football goes a whole year. For Jerry Jones, the regular season is the whole year. You cannot have a whole year of football be a regular season. You have to make moves. This is why there's an offseason. There's a draft. There's a combine. There's a free agency period. You have to take advantage of every single ounce of opportunity you get to build your team. And Jerry Jones doesn't do that. He does not like to spend money where it should be spent. So if the Cowboys go to the playoffs, I doubt they will go to a championship. They'll contend for a championship because Jerry Jones is there. And I want to say Michael McCarthy. I want to say I agree with you, but he's been to a Super Bowl before. So to say he's not a championship type coach, he's been there before.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say that.
Maybe just not a championship level front office. I mean, and you're right. It's consistent. They just don't go out and get anybody. It's great that they pay their perennial stars, Dak and CD and that, and I just feel like they could be so much more aggressive in the offseason, and they just hadn't done it.